everybody, CW here. I'm just going to cast up a real quick couple of bullets here with this Lyman 311 440 that I want to do the video on with the 327. And this one here is the 358 200 MP that I got last month. This alloy is a little bit hard, so I don't want to cast up too many of these because they're going to be a pretty hard bullet. But I want to show you this one, and then we'll move on to the reloading side of it. But it's a really nice bullet. It's made for the 30-30. It's 150 grain round nose, but it's a real bulbous, blunt round nose design. I'll show it to you here in a second. I've got probably 100 or so here cast. I'm not going to show you the whole thing just to make it safe for our friends at the tube. But I wanted to show you from start to finish because I was runned out of these bullets. All right, here's what we got. They're a real nice looking bullet. Hopefully I can get you focused in here good. There we go. 150 grain round nose, really blunt and gas checked, but you can crimp the 327 right in that top crimp groove, and it runs out perfect length for the cylinder. So we'll be showing you those pretty quick here. And just because we got it here, I'll show you this M&P. This is my favorite bullet for the Legend. And this is the M&P 200. This is the big hollow point. But I'm only gonna cast a few of these because they're pretty hard. The alloy's pretty hard. There's a lot of lino in there. And I don't know what that's going to do for expansion. It could be just brittle. It could be stay together and hold together. So, and the other that I cast earlier was some 360 balls. We're going to do a quick video on 357 mag shot and ball load. A couple of special requests for that, so we'll put that together. All right, stand by for the second part. All right, so we got the bullets cast. I decided to powder coat them this lime green color. I believe this is I'm drawing a blank. This is not powder by the pound. I believe this is a prismatic color. Anyway, it's a nice color. Coats pretty good. But these are our 311 44 or 440 bullet. Nice blunt round nose, 150 grains, and they run pretty fat. It's a 311 mold, but they drop pretty fat, and powder coated they're even a little bit fatter. But I'll show you, we're going to put some gas checks on, and we're going to use the NOE gas check tool, and this tool is pretty neat. I should do a video just on this, but that's for another day. For now, I've got it set up with the ram in here, and then you use a top punch from a 450 press down the bottom. It goes in this little adapter thing here. This is the adapter for a shell holder. And what I did was I took and drilled a hole in the bottom of it, because when I got it, it didn't have one. And the fit is so tight here, a lot of times I have to polish these stems just to get it to fit. And it was so tight, it was air pressure. I literally couldn't push it all the way in because it would only go like that far because I was compressing the air that was in there. So the hole in the bottom made it so that I could push it all the way down. It does have a set key set to to lock it in, but I don't find that I need it. Now you want to pick one that's going to fit your nose of your bullet. So when you seat your gas check, it's square and true. So you just take your gas check and you start it on with your thumb, square as you can make it. Doesn't have to be perfect, because it's going to be perfect when it's done here. And this is just a regular O frame. This is a really old Pacific, which is before Hornady owned them, or before Hornady bought them out. And they didn't change anything with the press. They produce it today. Anyway, this seats your gas check. Now let me show you here. I'll zoom in. And you can look at this, and you do them one at a time. And it's a little bit slow, but it's perfect. And you spin the bullet, and you can see that gas check is on perfectly square and true. If you're not doing it this way, you really don't have control over how true and square that gas check is on. And if the gas check is on crooked, it's going to affect how your accuracy is with your loads. So it's really important that that gas check is completely on, fully seated, and square. And I'll show you again on this tool how I do that. Get my little holder over here for my bullets. Let me move the camera a little bit. Hold on tight. There, that wasn't so bad. So we grab a bullet, grab a gas check, start it on there as square as you can make it. Doesn't have to be perfect, but as square as you can get it. Hold it in here with the nose on the top punch, and just lift it up to the top and pull your handle back. Now you see that's crooked. Just move it over till it's straight. Rotate it, pull it again. Rotate it, pull it again. Rotate it, pull it again. The reason you're rotating it is because if you were a little bit cocked to one side or the other, by rotating it, you're going to make it square and true. So let's give this a look here. Now these are unsized bullets, so the marks you're seeing on them are all going to go away. The seam, see the seam there? That's all going to go away. So that's on there perfect. We're just going to go through and do them all. Now I've got about 150, 120 bullets here, so I'm not going to bore you with all of them. Maybe I'll go through and do a little time lapse. That usually makes it go really quick for you guys. But just see the way you do it. You just start it on. And sometimes you'll find that the powder coated doesn't allow these to go on very much at all. Just get it as square as you can get it started, because this tool will seat it no problem. It's like a little arbor press. And just spin every one of your finger as you take it off. If anybody told you this is supposed to be fast, they lied to you. This is a little more precision, so it's going to take you a little bit of time. Don't look at it as a negative. This whole thing is an enjoyable process. So, you know, reap the benefits of what you can produce. It's going to take you a little bit longer. That's all. That's one of the reasons that I don't like using gas check bullets with powder coat, because it's generally not necessary. Speaking to handgun calibers, in handguns, it's really not necessary. I go right out on a limb and say it. It's really not necessary. But when you get into rifles and you get the pressures up and you get the velocities up, gas checks do have a place, and they are beneficial to a rifle round. The reason that we're putting a gas check on these is because, generally speaking, unless I'm making super light plinker loads, if a bullet is designed for a gas check, it shoots best with a gas check installed. So that's the reason I'm putting a gas check on these. All right, let me switch you over to speedy mode, and you can watch me do this in high speed. And if you spin it and it's not square, just mark the side and go back into your press and pull it again a couple times, and then check it, and it will be square. All right, putting you in high speed mode. Stand by. All right, we're all done, all empty, and all gas checked. All told, maybe 10 minutes. I let you watch the whole thing in speedy, so I'm hoping it's just a few seconds for you. And also something pretty neat happened. I think you saw me in the quick time there, dumping a bunch of new gas checks in my little bowl here. And then just doing them, and just using them. Well, there's one left. So out of that dump that I dumped in there, I dumped in one too many gas checks for all the bullets I had. That's pretty wild. Once in a while I hit it perfect, but that's pretty wild when it comes that close. All right, I'm going to move you over to the APP, and we're going to size these bullets, crimp the gas checks and size them at the same time. Stand by. Right. Simple as this. Take your bullet. I got you zoomed way in. Drop it in the sizer. I'll show you these sizers. These are NOE sizers that I'm using in a let me zoom you out because you're a little bit too close here. NOE sizers in a Lee product. Now this is a Lee product that was designed by our own Julio and produced by Lee, by NOE to fit the Lee. And these sizers just drop right in. Now this one's got a little Allen in it holding it, but they just drop in, and I'll show you the sizer in a second. This is 314 because we're going to use these in the 327 Federal. This is a 30 caliber pusher. Just drop that in there. It goes. That's about how far it goes. Remember, the nose of this bullet is going to be thinner or smaller diameter. Out here at these driving bands, these grease grooves below that crimp groove is where it's all going to be fat. It's where it's all. That's all your bearing surface. You know, from there to there, from the base of the bullet to the groove. That's your bearing surface. All right, I'm going to put you in speedy mode and run through these. All right, there's our bullets. We've got 100 of them, 112 or something I counted, all sized and ready to go. Let's go on. Let's go on to the next step. Oh, I want to show you those bushings. Let me show you those bushings. Just going to move you real quick. Hold on tight. Move you over here. These are the bushings. This is how you buy them from NOE. This happens to be a 40 caliber 401. 40 caliber 401, and here's the bushing inside. I put them in a little fishing box. I leave them right in their containers. And there's your bushing. It's stamped on the top with the size. And that's it. Just a push-through bushing. That little slot there is for the Allen key to tighten it down, but don't over tighten it. It's just needs to be snug. It's got a little groove in there so it can't pop out. If you over tighten it, it's just a tiny little screw. You're gonna have problems. It doesn't really even need it tight at all. But there they are. These are about 10 bucks a piece. So they're pretty cheap. The new Lees are very, very similar. The new Lee sizers are very, very similar. So it kind of makes these moot, but these are available in more sizes, I believe, than the Lees are. So that's nice. You can get pretty much any size you want. Like I've got these from $3.99 up to $4.04. So I can size anything in between there if I want to play with a custom diameter for something. All right, stand by. Let's get over to the loading bench and load some of these up. Hello, everybody. Okay, we're back. For me, it's the next day. For you, it's just the last clip. So we are ready here to load some of these 150 grain Lyman 311 440 bullets. These little buggers here. 57 max. I'm sorry. That's the next thing I'm doing here. 327 Federal. We're going to skip some of the steps to keep YouTube happy, so we don't do the whole thing here. but you know how things work. What we're going to have here is, I'm not going to give you this load. Reason being, there's no data. There's no data available for this. So I worked this up to be safe in my gun, but I don't know what's going to happen with yours or your reloading. So I don't want that liability. I don't want nobody to get hurt. So I'm not going to say, but I will tell you, it's this powder here. And you can extrapolate from other loads that are close, other bullet weights, and come up with a educated, good, strong, educated guess based on your experience loading. And then just start a little bit lower. It's a revolver. It's a good base, and you shouldn't have any problems. Worst you're going to do, it's a lead bullet. So worst you're going to do is get a bullet stuck in your barrel if it's too light of a charge, and that's not a big deal. Pushes out pretty easy, especially powder coated. But there we go. There's our first one. There's our first one done. It's a nice load. I'm getting right at 1,050 feet per second, which is perfect for what I'd like, and that's with a 5-inch barrel, 5.5-inch barrel. I don't know that I've tested this out of that short 4-incher, but I might have. I've got some data. I've got some pictures of the time I shot it over the chronograph, and I'll see if I can find that and roll that in here. Of what it did for me. Didn't have too much recoil. I didn't find it, excessive. None of these loads are really excessive with recoil. They 327 is just a nice shooting caliber. And I do have a fair crimp on this. You can see it there because there's a good crimp groove to get it in. This would be a really good woods load if you needed penetration. This is cast pretty hard. There's a lot of I don't know why I'm having mental blocks this morning. Linotype. Thinking about too many things. Had a doctor's appointment this morning, and my knee's pretty jacked up. But good news at the doctor. So anyway, that's probably where my brain is. But I need to concentrate on what I'm doing here so we don't make any mistakes. It's bad enough making a video, thinking about everything I want to say, and remembering to get the powder in the case and get everything the way it's supposed to be. See, I just turned it from bullet seeder to crimper before I had the bullet seated. Anyway, there we go. I should have brought the firearm down here so that I can show you how well it sits for overall length. It sits right to the end of the cylinder perfectly. It's you couldn't have designed it to fit any better. So I don't know why nobody else has thought of doing this. Probably because it's a 311 bullet and they figure that it's never going to get big enough. But this drops out of the mold 313. So that's plenty big, with powder coat to make 314, and even 313 would probably be okay. It's a little smaller than I like. I like fat bullets for my cast, so I'll go a couple of thousandths larger. But a lot of people just go 1,000 smaller, and it's okay. It's going to change with the pressures you're shooting at, and it's going to change with the caliber, the velocity you're trying to achieve. But that's the reason I like fatter, because fatter almost always works. It's rarely a problem to be too fat, and you can't think about it like it's a jacketed bullet. You're not appreciably changing the pressure curve by using a fatter bullet in cast. If you try that in jacketed, it's a different story. Jacket is a lot harder. The copper is a lot harder than even the hardest hard cast bullet. I know this light is a little bit shining on you, and I really don't need it, I guess, because I'm not looking in the cases. I'm not dropping powder in the cases as I load here. I'm using the little dandy again. Again with that powder over there. The powder is coming up not very high in the case. The bullet seats pretty deep, but I am maybe coming close to it, but it's not touching it, and it's absolutely no kind of compressed load. Here we go. All right, you can see this all day long and know what I'm doing. Again, we omitted some parts to make YouTube happy, so we're not showing the complete steps here. But you all know what's going on. You can shoot me questions. I'm not going to give you the load, though. That's one thing I'm not going to do. Again, just for safety's sake. It would really ruin my day if I knew that I caused somebody to have some problems with something that I advised them to do. So I'm not going to give you that information. But like I said, you can. I looked it up. I mean, I extrapolated it based on similar bullet weights, looking at a few different manuals, and starting lower and working up. I tried this with red dot, and I didn't get good results. I tried it with unique, and it was serviceable, but I wasn't getting what I wanted. And blue dot, I didn't like the way that dumped. Blue dot is a really nice powder for heavy bullets in most calibers, so that's why I chose it. A lot of bullet in the case. I don't think there's any real worry here about stability, although it's a long bullet. I don't know what the twist is in these Ruger S7s, but shooting it as I have out to 25 yards, I'm printing pretty good, and I don't have any sideways hits or anything like that. So it's at least stable enough for the short range shooting that I've tried it in. I should try it out a little bit farther to see, but such a big bullet, it's gonna lose steam fast. And this one here, like I said, there's a lot of lino in there. I don't know how hard these are. I just wanted to get them cast to get some on hand to be able to make the video. So I'm not really sure what this hardness is. I'm sure it's at least Lyman number 2, probably a little bit harder. Not that that's needed, but for what this is, what you do with this load, I would think a hard cast is going to be desirable because of its penetration power. This is a pretty blunt bullet. It's going to have pretty good smack. So I wouldn't be afraid of this as a woods load. It would shoot deep, penetrate deep, hit hard, and be a nice load. All right. there you go. I hope you got something out of this. I hope it was something worthwhile for you. Leave me some comments down below. As always, good talking to you. And as always, God bless everybody. CW out.